Hello everyone, in this lesson we will configure the EIGRP stub router with you. First of all, let me talk about our topology and then let's move on to our configuration. We have 3 routers in our topology, router 1 in data center 1 and router 2 in data center 2. Let's assume that we have one MPLS connection between these 2 data centers. The speed of this connection is 1 gigabit per second, and we also back up with a VPN tunnel over the internet. Router 3 is also connected to data center 1 and data center 2 routers. There is an EIGRP configuration between the 3 routers here. Now let's check our configurations. Then let's see what happens when our line here fails. Now let's come to router 1 and check our settings. First of all, let's look at it with Show EIGRP IP interface. Here you can see that our Gigabit 00, Gigabit 02, and Tunnel 100 interface is working under the EIGRP process. Here we have made our Gigabit 03 passive interface and our physical interface Gigabit 01 with VPN tunnel passive interface so that no neighborhood is established over this interface. We are setting up our neighborhoods with router 3 over Gigabit 00, Tunnel 100 and Gigabit 02. Now let's check our topology table. Let's see only 10, 2, 2, 0 by typing the pipe section here. As you can see, we have 2 active paths here. Our first way is through the Gigabit 00 interface, and our second way is through the Tunnel 100 interface. So router 1 will use this place as the first way, and it will use here as the second way. But when our connection between router 1 and router 2 goes, router 3 is also 10 to router 2, 1, 1, 0 publishes its subnet. Then router 1 first comes to router 3 and from router 3 to router 2. But we don't want it to be like this. In case of a malfunction in our line here, we want router 1 to go to router 2 via VPN tunnel as a backup. Now let's check our settings while working normally. I came to the PC and traced to 10, 2, 2, 2 users. As you can see here, first of all, it goes to its own gateway. From there it comes to 10, 12, 1, 2 and accesses the user. That is, it accesses here using the line here. Now let's close this connection on router 1 and see what happens. I'm shut down the interface Gigabit 00. After shutdowning, let's check our topology table. When we check our topology table, it sends this route to router 3 over Gigabit 02 with 3328 metrics, but we don't want it to be like that, because we have a VPN connection as a backup here and we want it to go over this connection. Let's check it from PC1. When we trace, it goes from router 3 to router 2. When we configure Stub on router 3 will only publish the subnets that are directly connected to it and the summarized subnets. Router 3, it will not broadcast the 10, 1, 1, 0 subnet it learned from router 1 to router 2. Then our traffic will return to normal and router 1 will access here through the tunnel here. Now let's come to router 3 and make our configuration. I'm switching to the router EIGRP process. Our command is EIGRP stub. Now that our neighborhoods are going to be set up again, let's check router 1 again. When I check the topology table, you can see that Tunnel 100 is the only route this time. Let's write show IP route EIGRP begin gateway. Here you can see that it uses the Tunnel 100 interface to go to subnet 10, 2, 2, 0. Since we made router 3 a stub router, it does not publish the routes it learned from router 1 here, nor does it publish the subnets it learned from router 2 to router 1. Now let's go to our PC. When we trace, it first goes to 10, 1, 1 and then accesses the user through the tunnel interface. Now let's open our interface on router 1. Our EIGRP neighborhood has been rebuilt. Now let's look at PC1 again. When we look at PC1, as you can see here, it goes through 10, 12, 1, 2. Let's come back to router 1 and turn off the interface again. Now let's check again from PC1. When we check again, you can see that it goes through the tunnel interface. Now our backup line is automatically activated in case of a malfunction in our line here. By making router 3 an EIGRP stub router, we have prevented it from sharing the routes it learned from router 1 and router 2 with other routers. This is how we configure EIGRP stub. See you in our next lesson. Goodbye.